Hey, we are back. It has been a month. A lot of stuff going on in that month. That is why we kind of disappeared for a little bit. Congratulations to Josh and his wife and kids, Heidi and everybody, on their new house. That was one of the big things. That actually started while we were in Lincoln. Those episodes will be posted tomorrow. Um,
You don't get to watch
haven't
me
gotten
melt
those up yet.
down. So,
And then things got a little busy because both Josh and I traveled to Seattle unbeknownst to each other until we got
that's
there,
crazy.
which was wild. And so went out of town. And then I don't know about Josh, but when I got back into town, I was so far behind on work. I was swamped. So those are all things that kept us from being able to get this done. So we are back and we're going to go ahead and in the episode today, we're going to kind of just break down the Nebraska season. That'll probably be the main thing we talk about. And then we will do a quick recap of kind of how we feel things are going in college and NFL with our teams in the NFL and stuff. And maybe, mention how sucky I am or lousy I am at fantasy football because I'm terrible. And then, we will get on with it. So, just jumping in right away here. So we went to Lincoln, and we seem to have sort of lost Andrew.
We can see his name.
Yes, Andrew's recording will continue on a new track. Okay, that's weird.
There he is. Hey, buddy. Oh. I think he's trying to tell us something. Morse code with the camera on and off.
Maybe. Did you just say something, Andrew? Because we didn't hear it.
Andrew, are you there? Blink twice if you're in trouble. No, we can't hear you, brother. We can't hear you.
Well,
This is how you know it's a high quality production.
Yes.
We are the hosts, the editors, the production crew. Lighting is clearly fallen by the wayside. There, is that better? Well, sweet.
Yes, Sarah and I are Christmas addicted people, so we've started setting up.
I tried. My family refuses to listen to Christmas music until the day after Thanksgiving.
What?
I don't get it, dude. I don't get it. I want Christmas all year round.
Right?
I want to be rocking around the Christmas tree like it's the maypole.
Exactly. We have two of them. We have actually this tree, and then we have another tree in the other room. So we've got two trees up.
Yeah, see?
We've got decorations all around the house and everything. So yeah, we did that Friday night before, and then yesterday we went to the game and everything. But yesterday we also did a little shopping for some more Christmas decorations and stuff. So
of course,
yeah, it was a good day.
Like Hobby Lobby, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, we ended up going to Michael's and Home Goods.
Okay, all right, fair. Well, might just be us. So
it may just be us. All right,
it's gonna be like a 10-minute edit right here.
Yes, or should I even? I don't know. I could probably cut it and then edit the beginning back onto the.
Yeah, just do your Helmet Nation promo.
Okay. All right, let me get to it here. So, today's episode of Brothers Trippin is brought to you by Helmet Nation, your go-to source for fully custom football helmets. Whether you run a youth program, coach high school athletes, work with a small college, or want something unique for your business, military unit, or first responder department, Helmet Nation can design a helmet that absolutely stands out. You dream it, and we build it. Custom colors, logos, finishes, it's all possible because Helmet Nation is a veteran-owned business committed to high-quality craftsmanship. If you want a helmet that represents your team, your organization, or even your fantasy football champion this year, go check out helmetnation.com. So, yeah.
Excellent.
All right. So, let's recap. when last we spoke, Nebraska had just beaten Michigan State.
Mm-hmm,
We were excited about that. We thought it was a good comeback, or not comeback, but good win.
We were
That had
happy but cautious, I think,
Yes,
is
yes,
what I would say. But
I would agree with that. And since then, I believe they've gone. Is it 2-2? Are they two? Were they? What
four
were?
games ago,
I believe so.
good gosh, let me look. We are on top of our data and
Right.
stats here at Helmet Nation.
Yes,
And
and at the Brothers Trippin, podcast here.
5 games. Holy crap. 5 games since then. Wow, we have really slacked off on the podcast.
Right. I know that's
Didn't even
crazy.
notice. I didn't even notice we weren't doing it. Yeah,
Yeah,
five
it's
five
crazy.
games. So they went 3-2 since then.
Yes. So they beat Michigan, or I'm sorry, they beat Michigan State while we were in Lincoln,
Mm-hmm.
38-27. That was a good win. The next week, when you and I were both in Washington, they beat
Mm-hmm.
Maryland on the road in a game that was 34-31. That
Mm-hmm.
sounds like it was pretty crazy. Like Dylan threw 3 interceptions, and the team had to make a last minute comeback to win the game with like less than 2 minutes left, which actually, I mean, that was encouraging because
For sure.
they hadn't done that. They hadn't won a game and driven, and so that was. I mean, is the fact that it was that close, I wasn't necessarily happy about, but the fact that they did it and they still won, like through all the adversity, I was pretty pumped about that.
Yeah, that was with just a minute left in the game when they scored that touchdown.
Yeah, and then the next week they went and just laid the biggest turd under, like, Matt
Yep.
Rule that I think I mean, legit, I think that was probably the worst game that they've played under Matt Rule, to be honest.
Certainly felt like it.
Yeah. I mean, it was horrible. The
Mm-hmm.
whole, they didn't match Minnesota at all. They didn't the Minnesota came ready to play Nebraska. It seemed like they were, you know,
Asleep
hey,
at the wheel.
hey, yes. He's back. All right, brother. Can you hear us?
Yes, loud and clear.
Awesome. So we're recapping the fact that since our last podcast in Lincoln, they've played 5 games. And so we talked about how they beat Maryland on the last minute touchdown. They then, were horrible. And I used a different phrase against Minnesota. We both kind of feel like that was probably the worst game the teams played under Matt Rule, just given all of the circumstances. And then they came out, they played a tough game against Northwestern, who I knew would give them a game. But they, honestly, I was pretty frustrated that day because I kind of expected them, even though I knew Northwestern would give them a game. I was a little frustrated uh, when Raiola threw that pick after Northwestern had come back. I think they tied it maybe 21, and then Raiola throws a pick. Like I was just like, you got to be kidding me. And so then through all that adversity, they got that, they got an interception back off of Northwestern. They drove down, converted some third downs, and scored to win the game 28-21. Thought it was awesome. Then they played USC, where, of course, they lost 21-17, but there was so many positives about that game. And to me, I don't know about you guys, and I'm summarizing here so we can kind of go back and hit other points as we, get through this. But I feel like if Dylan doesn't get hurt, they win that game. And then yesterday they beat UCLA in LA with the backup quarterback TJ Lateef playing really well. I would have liked to have seen them put another touchdown on the board to make it 35, whatever the score was at the end, because
Yeah.
I feel like they need to take that step. But the defense clearly stepped up enough. And then the offense, the last drive, I thought was pretty clutch to run the clock out with, like, I think they had 5 minutes left or 4:40 something. It was almost 5 minutes of
Yeah.
game time, and they ran the clock
Mm-hmm.
out to win the
Yeah.
game. So anyway, your guys' thoughts on those 5 games. Josh, what did you think?
I would love to hear what Andrew has to say. Oh. Um, shoot. Andrew? Anyway, So yeah, yesterday's game super encouraging. I felt like Latif just played, and I'm not one of those who's like, hey, maybe Latif's going to replace Rayola. Like that's not what I'm suggesting here. I just really liked the way that he played, smooth. I don't know how else to describe it other than like he just seemed to be. I think it was one of the better coached games from a strategy game plan standpoint, and because he didn't have to do anything crazy. You know what I mean? And I
Right.
think the offensive line took control of that game and owned the UCLA's defensive line, and helped in that regard. So like just as Rule had talked about all week about taking pressure or helping out Latif and rallying around him, it really felt like that's what they did. And I mean, just about all aspects. The week before, I kind of freaked out at the USC game and just thought, my gosh, the defense, they're getting gashed. And their run defense is terrible, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. I'm a nobody. I've never coached. I played 1 year of Little League football and I got hit in the head a lot and didn't like it. But I do love football and I wish I had played other times. But I was like 12. And so, at that point, you're just happy for the ice cream cone after the game. Anyway, so, after
To be fair,
talking
your
to
head
you,
was an easy
Aaron,
target.
it still is. Look at this. It's not a 4-head. It's a 5-head. Um, but I was nervous because it just seemed like they were getting gashed like crazy. And then, listening to guys like Benning, and you, Aaron, like their defense actually held up quite well. And they held USC to far less yards than they've been averaging and far less points than they've been averaging all year. And they matched the run game, which was great. So like I tried not to freak out when last night, Iamaliava is running like a crazy person and just in some ways making him look foolish a little bit. Like I tried not to go too nuts with that because I think he can kind of do that to just about any defense. The dude is slippery. As big as he is, he's not a bowl you over. He didn't come off as like a bowl you over kind of, Tim Tebow sized quarterback. But man, that guy for as tall as I think he's like 6'6" or something, isn't he? Just slippery as can be. I don't know how tall he is, but man, he was elusive. And I was actually impressed with some of the ways that they did put pressure on him early. They sacked him 3 times. So I really just felt like overall the whole team did a fantastic job of just playing it like probably in my mind one of their more complete games given the circumstances. So I thought that was awesome. I'm encouraged. Who knows how that's going to translate over to Penn State in 2 weeks. Penn State showed some life against Indiana. And so you just never know. There's, what's going to happen. I think they could end up 9-3, or they could end up 7-5. You just never know. But if they lose to Iowa, someone will pay. It will probably be me.
So we'll get into predicting the last 2 games here in a second. But Andrew, what are your thoughts on the games that we've missed since we did our last podcast?
Well, you're encouraged by the close wins that happened in a few of those games. The discouraging part about that is that I don't think they necessarily needed to be that close. I think they could have been 10-point and maybe 2 touchdown victories. Maybe not both of them, but Northwestern always plays Nebraska tough. So I don't know that to just say, well, it's disappointing they didn't learn to play with a lead or break away or whatever is kind of an easy thing to say. But the truth of the matter is it's kind of like one of those rivalry games almost. It's not a rivalry game, but it feels like one. And Northwestern always plays Nebraska tough. And so I think the Maryland game, like there have been some The only downside I think is just there's been some bad picks thrown, and I think that's led to the offense having to kind of bail the team out at the end of the game a couple times. So Michigan State, we saw they just disappeared for 2 quarters.
Yeah.
So and then they had to come back in the fourth quarter and just kind of they did break away in the fourth quarter. So that again, it's like encouraging, but then you've got some lapses. I don't know if it's just execution. I don't know if it's mental. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but the fact that they have been able to win a lot of those games this year, where in previous years they haven't, that part's been encouraging. EJ has been the brightest spot. Nobody would have thought he would have had a year like this at the beginning.
Yeah, to think he almost left.
In the off season, nobody thought he was going to be this weapon that he has become. I think he's just blown everybody's expectations out of the water. Yeah. And my goodness, thank goodness he stayed. So
thank goodness Holgerson recognized who he was. I mean, Satterfield, for some reason, I'm not trying to be critical of Satterfield because he's done well in other areas, but man, he was ready to cut the guy loose.
Critical.
He wasn't using.
I mean, he got fired. So it's like,
he didn't. Yeah. I mean, I guess he did his OC. Yeah, you're right. He got demoted back to
replaced, I should say. So but the UCLA game was obviously very encouraging, and just the fact that how they played as a unit, like just the togetherness of the team, it really felt like they just completely rallied around Latif. So that was just UCLA's defense not great, right? Let's just acknowledge that. Not a great defense. But it just didn't seem to matter, right? Like it didn't matter. It felt really good to see the team play that way, and for Latif to play as clean as he did, and to kind of just you see somebody like that young just come in and they're just not overthinking anything. He's just he went with one read, and then if it wasn't there, sometimes he would just end up taking off, and it was like, that's fine. Do your thing. Use your athleticism. Don't try to overthink it. Don't get too caught up in the moment. And that's what he did. And it worked out really well. Penn State is going to bring, Penn State and Iowa both kind of bring, like Penn State reminds me of Michigan a little bit without the athletic quarterback. Well, because he's out. But their running backs, otherwise it would have been kind of like a mirror, like almost like a mirror image of Michigan's offense in a way. But their two running backs are both going to play in the NFL, and that's their entire offense is those two guys pretty much. So I feel like it's going to be tough because Nebraska's run defense seems to be you just look back at all their games, and if the running backs aren't gashing them, it seems to be the quarterback. And Penn State doesn't have a quarterback right now who can run, but those two guys, basically
I think they rank something like 94th. Yeah, I think they're like the 94th rush defense in the country or something like that. Like it's not.
Nebraska is right now.
Mm-hmm, yeah, it's bad.
Mm-hmm. So, and Iowa, obviously, right? Like you've got Gronowski who runs, and he's not a very good passer. So they're going to obviously rely on the run game too. But yeah, so both have some pretty stout defenses. So I think, it's going to be tough. These next two games are going to be freaking tough.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
no, I totally feel you. And the UCLA win, I think, was just encouraging to keep the guys, keep their own spirits up and everything. So everything they're battling. I do wonder, we did have a couple of guys get hurt yesterday, and I haven't heard anything yet on, those guys, but it was awesome to see Spindler out there with his hand still getting after it the way he was. And then
Shavers as well.
Shavers was out there, so guys were playing through stuff. That's encouraging. I think we'll have to, it'll obviously, be interesting. And clearly I'm not, I'm not on college level in terms of like what they're going to do. But if I was, I mean, I legitimately would just be looking at both Penn State and Iowa and going, okay, can their receivers, beat our DBs? If not, I'm playing man and I'm keeping an extra guy in the box, and I am literally going to either like just play everything as a run and take my chances that they beat me over the top, that the quarterback is actually good enough to do that. Or I'm going to run blitz them and stuff on like I'm literally going to be going. I'm going to force them to throw the ball. Like and Robbie keeps asking, Damon about that on the show. He's like, can you force them to be more aggressive? I mean, if there's ever a time to do it, I feel like these last two games are going to be it. Like you have to force those two teams to beat you through the air. And I don't think either quarterback's good enough to do that. So the question becomes, like, can we limit their running enough that, and both games, I mean, I think both games you're looking at like 17-14,
Yeah.
2017, 16-13 type games, like I think both games are going to be really low scoring and really tight. And we're just going to have to make a couple of more plays. We got to limit the turnovers. That was beautiful by Latif last night. The fact we had no turnovers out of him. Nope. No, not a single fumble. No interceptions, and then for him to go, I mean, he would have been perfect on his completion percentage if his receivers hadn't dropped balls. Like both those passes were on the receivers. Even the first one that was a bit of a stretch, I feel like his receivers.
That wasn't great. That would have been a tough one, but yeah,
it would have been tough.
He'd have been the hands, like, but
he needs to, I mean. So, I mean, that was maybe that one. Maybe you give that
Your
one.
Point being, he didn't have any blatantly bad throws.
No, he was on top of it, and it's and to your point, Iamaleava is a oh my gosh. By the way, the announcer saying his last name made me just want to pound
I'm
sand.
trying to remember how he would say it. It was like Iamaleava or something.
It was Iamaleava. He wouldn't say the L.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my.
And you could tell the other guy was just like, stop saying it, dude. Like,
just call him Nico. Stop adding the last name. Everybody knows who you're talking about. Like,
oh my goodness.
It felt like there were a lot of times in that where the one guy who's not the color guy, the color commentator, I should clarify that. Yeah, I can't remember their names, but I wasn't making an inappropriate comment right then. I meant color commentator.
Right. Let's move on.
He kind of had to be like the whole time when that guy would just say stupid stuff. Like, there were so many times where that guy just made the most.
To be honest,
it was ridiculous comments, and oh my gosh, I was like, this is amateur hour.
Well, Devin Gardner announces kind of like he played quarterback, which wasn't well, if you ask me. So,
that dude was a quarterback.
Yeah, Devin. Remember, he was at Michigan and he wore 98 as the quarterback.
Oh, he was Michigan's. Okay,
that was the guy saying the goofy stuff the whole night.
Yes. Oh, he was the one who could not pronounce Nico's last name, and it was.
You have all week to practice those names,
right? What are they paying you to do? Like
that post-production meeting, man. They should light him up for that because that's unprofessional.
It was, and if I was Nico, I might actually have some issues with like having him. I mean, everybody butchers the name. Well, not everybody, but plenty of guys butcher it. But I'd still be mad about it. I'd be like, "What are you doing?" Anyway, one of these days, I want to do an episode where we just rip the announcers we don't like. I think that'd be fun.
I think it would be harder to find the ones we do like.
I would not disagree with that. It is hard to find announcers that I can handle.
Tough. But you notice, I was thinking about why, and then it's like, well, of course, because every single game is available on TV now, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're growing up, it was like there's 2 or 3 big games of the week, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It kind of, and so you'd always have the same announcers, and they were always, like Keith Jackson, and
Yeah, but even like the number one, like Klatt and
Gus Johnson.
Gus Johnson. Gus
Who had a
drives
heart
me
attack when that Indiana receiver caught that
insane.
ball.
Yeah, he did.
He had a heart attack. Did you hear that call?
No,
Yes.
what did he say? Like that?
Oh, no, you
Pretty
got to listen
much.
to it on YouTube and turn the volume up.
Yes.
No, he couldn't speak. He could not speak. His voice went
Wow.
about 4 octaves high.
Yes.
Oh,
Dude,
God.
it was.
I think he stroked out.
Maybe.
I mean, he drives me crazy. And Platt, I guess, is okay, but Gus
Platt
Johnson
at least feels like he knows
like
what he's
Platt.
talking about. Yeah, I like.
Yes.
It.
Yeah.
Platt is like the anti-Gus. He's like the even-keeled, he has to.
Yeah, Gus's voice jumps 3 octaves when somebody gains 3
I
yards.
feel like I'm being yelled at while I'm watching the
Yes.
game.
Yes. It's unreal. Anyway,
I wanna
we're a
fight
little
both of
off
them.
topic. Right now, I just want to fight Devin Gardner because his love of Nebraska opponents is so apparent every time he calls a game.
I felt like
It's
he came around towards he came around towards the end of the game.
I thought he at least gave them some props when they were doing
Yeah.
when they were doing well,
But it did take the whole game from him.
yeah.
So, anyway, yes. So what else were we talking about? Oh, so yeah, I think we're all on the same page that the last 2 games are going to be tough. As I mentioned in our text group, like I personally am rooting big time for Michigan State because here's the thing: if Penn State still has a chance to play for a bowl game when Nebraska goes in there, we clearly have seen with the game they played against Indiana that they have something left in the tank,
Mm-hmm.
But if there's no possible way for them to get to a bowl game, I'm wondering how that will affect their psyche in terms of, like now they're just finishing the season.
Yeah.
So are they going to play with this? And it wouldn't be something that they would do, I don't think, consciously. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the players are going to be like, oh, we can't get to a bowl game, so we're going to go play like crap. But it definitely, having been around the game for as much as I have, those kinds of things affect player psyche. And so even on some level underneath, if they can't make it to a bowl game, I could see them not quite playing to the level that they're capable of. So I'm definitely rooting for Michigan State. I don't have much faith in that, to be honest with you. I think Michigan State's going to lose that game. Who's that Michigan State? He's the backup's now the starter, right? The kid with the
Charles.
Crazy name.
Yeah.
The
Iamaliava.
That's the one.
his is equally as
transferred
crazy,
again.
only it's like Russian or something.
Iamaliava. Like that.
So,
Borscht.
It's like
Borscht
Milosevic or something.
but so yeah, I don't know that they'll pull that off.
I will break you.
Yeah. His name is Ivan Drip. Forget it. Gosh dang it. That sucked.
So
it's kind of funny that Childs is no longer the starter.
yeah, right. I mean, everybody thought he was the second coming because he came with Jonathan Smith. Now people are even questioning Jonathan Smith. Like most people have taken him off of the boards for possibly getting one of these gajillion open jobs that are out there, which is insane. Like,
dude, people are nuts.
Do something where you're
Justin
at first.
Smith is still a good. Yeah, well, yes, I agree with Andrew there, but I think Justin Smith is a good coach, and I think he just needs a little time there to.
Okay, yeah, but like, dude, stay where you're at for just a minute. Like,
yeah, no, I'm with you.
well, that's why I've been glad to see a lot of these other coaches who are guys that could be,
who's
like
gonna get. Yeah. No, sorry, Aaron. I was going to say.
no, go ahead.
You know who's going to get? Who's going to get a job? Fitzgerald.
Who's that?
Because he just settled that lawsuit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Fitzgerald's going to get a nice
trying
job.
to get back into it.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's just could you see him at Penn State?
No, well, Penn State, yes.
I could.
Penn State, yes.
I could.
Actually, yes.
I could
Penn
see him
State.
at
I
Penn
could
State.
see at like a place like Florida or LSU.
See him
No,
down the deep south. I don't know where he's from,
No.
so I don't really know his background. But
that's not even. He's got to have a program that's a blue collar program, and Penn State is a blue collar program. He's got to be in somewhere like that where you got to bring your lunch pail because he's not about like the flash and the live lions or your tigers, live tigers on your sideline and crazy governors getting involved in the coach search and stuff like that. That's not his
yeah.
thing. So he's going to be, I mean, Penn State would probably be the highest job. He could possibly get he might, if he doesn't get something like that, maybe Oklahoma State would be an interesting place for him to land. Auburn.
Earthquake.
Sorry.
I can't see it happening in the SEC. I think
no, I agree. I can't really see the
after
SEC.
Andrew mentioned that seems to be like a great fit for him. But
yeah.
I don't think people actually use lunch pails anymore. I mean, all the kids I see use insulated bags because it keeps your food fresher.
And that's the problem with schools.
Yeah, that's Gen Z.
Our school system, it started, I think, with the deterioration of the lunch pail.
Of the lunch pail. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no hard hats. There's no lunch pails. No thermoses. What's the plural of thermos?
No, there's a thread here. There's a thread.
Thermi.
Sure.
Is it thermi or thermoses? Might be thermoses. I don't know.
Somebody should have cracked the code to the breakdown of society.
To the successful podcast. Oh, goodness.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
It's hilarious listening to you guys talk, like when you were talking about how like every game is on TV now. And then I think, except New Mexico. New Mexico somehow is still never on TV. Almost never.
They have to be.
They're
on
the Mountain West channel, which is like broadcast in Braille for crying out loud. No, who has somewhere. Mountain West? Mountain West is not.
Well, I don't even have ESPN right now, Josh. So
I don't either. Nobody does. It's not a real.
Speaking of which,
you can do a day pass on Sling for $5, which I did.
Oh, really?
To watch the BYU game, and that was an absolute waste of $5.
Wait,
did you watch that game? I didn't get to watch it
on ABC.
Yeah,
which is not on.
Channel.
That's an ESPN channel.
It's not on antenna. Use your antenna.
Who's got an antenna? I don't have an antenna in my TVs.
You can still just switch the source.
What are you talking about?
Yes, what are we talking about?
I have one, but all you got to do is switch the source from like HDMI to whatever.
Cut him. I know. They're talking about that on the radio or on the radio this week.
I'm just kidding.
I'm going to put tinfoil on my head like in
You got like the triangle hat? Dude, like it was.
I know, you can.
Whatever.
I know.
You should still be able to get your local channels.
It would. How much would an antenna
Tune
cost
in
me,
Tokyo.
Josh? I spent $5. $5 on a day pass.
I would never. Yeah.
And it was not worth it, but I'm saying
Nope.
it was worth it, but it was not worth it.
Not worth it.
That game, I knew they were going to lose, and I was like, I don't care. I still want to watch them.
So was it pure domination from Texas Tech?
The game was never in doubt. Let's just put it that way.
BYU didn't score, did they? Until the last
fourth quarter.
Yeah, 5 minutes of the game or something. I mean, wow. A shutout. It was goose egg.
I will say that BYU's defense played very, very tough. Like BYU's defense held.
Yes, but now they're screwed. Utah's screwed because if they both win out, it's just gonna. Utah's screwed. If BYU and Tech plays nobody, BYU could lose Tech, I guess, again. I don't know. I can't remember who they play, but if they both win out, they'll play each other again in a rematch in the Big 12.
Will they?
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, because BYU beat Utah, so it wouldn't be.
And so did Texas Tech. Those are the two.
Yeah. No, I was just trying to think of who would play Texas Tech. So BYU's got TCU, who just lost yesterday to Iowa State. And then they're at Cincinnati, and they have UCF. So they have 3 games left. TCU, Cincinnati, UCF.
BYU could lose one of those, I guess. Weird things happen, right, in November. But
I mean, they could lose to Cincinnati on the road. Cincinnati's been tough, man.
But I think they'd have to lose twice, right? Because they have the tiebreaker over Utah, and Utah has 2 losses.
Yes, yeah, they would have to in order for Utah to slot in there. Yeah.
So.
But where does so Cincinnati is currently second in the Big Ten according to this. Cincinnati is or Big 12. Sorry,
Big 10.
Sorry, Big 12. My bad.
My bad.
Big 12.
Daily.
Cincinnati's got Arizona, BYU, and TCU. So if Cincinnati won out, they might play Texas Tech. Now, I think Texas Tech would run them out of the building.
Yeah, so I guess Cincinnati and BYU kind of both have their what do they say? Destiny in their own hands or something. Control their destiny. But
so it's density.
Yeah. I wasn't impressed with. I mean, Utah. Granted, Sorsby, he had some good plays against Utah, but otherwise, man, Utah just looked like they were on a total other level than Cincinnati.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So I don't know, how that's going to go. I think we're all expecting, right, to see Indiana and Ohio State finish out and play for the Big Ten championship, I'm assuming.
Who?
Indiana and Ohio State. Did I say Penn State? I mean, Indiana and Ohio State.
Yeah.
I
haven't looked at like their rest of the remaining schedule, but I would think so.
My understanding is Indiana's is pretty weak. Like they don't have anybody left at this point.
Ohio State? I don't think Ohio. Just Michigan. Let's see here.
Indiana's got Wisconsin at home and then at Purdue. So Indiana's going to finish 12-0.
They're in trouble.
And then Ohio State. Let's see.
Because Oregon's the only one, and they'd have to lose a couple times for Oregon to jump them. So.
And then Ohio State has UCLA at home, Rutgers at home, and then at Michigan.
Ooh, Rutgers. They got Rutgers. Never mind.
Are they playing Citadel or Old Dominion?
They're just
no. That's SEC schedules.
Oh, dude, that's who Georgia. Ole Miss played yesterday. Wasn't it Citadel or something like that?
It was a Citadel.
Guys, man.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, like for all the talk about Lane Kiffin, like
that weekend.
No,
I bet you Bama
and
Georgia both play.
They all do it.
I know it's a bunch
this
of
next
crap.
weekend
in November. They do it in November.
It's the
crock, dude.
Let's see here.
It's the money generating, schedule saving strategy of freaking BS.
Texas A&M plays South Carolina.
Yeah, it's just they pack the stadium with people who want to go watch a game. They make a ton of money. There's no threat of them losing.
Nope. None. I don't like it. Arkansas and LSU play this weekend.
It's embarrassing. Have some freaking pride at this point. Good gosh.
They all do it. The SEC does it. It's at some point in November, they all play a cupcake game.
Yeah.
It just depends on
Georgia on the 22nd plays Charlotte.
There you go.
Old Miss just did it yesterday.
Yeah. It's like
it makes me sick.
Like Christmas.
It's embarrassing.
Actually, it looks like Texas didn't do it. Texas is the only one that didn't schedule that. No, they play Texas, Arkansas, and Texas A&M. I guess Arkansas might be.
Hey, this next weekend, Alabama and Oklahoma play. That'll be good.
Just kidding. Who? What?
Oklahoma and Alabama play this coming weekend.
Yeah.
That'll be a good game.
Oklahoma's lost a little bit of their left. They seem to do this now every year. Oklahoma starts strong, and they lose like the last 3 to 4 games of the year.
Yes.
Yeah, Ole Miss played the Citadel yesterday.
Wow. The Citadel. Come on.
Florida and Ole Miss next weekend.
At least go to the bazaar before invading the Dark Tower.
Yes. Dude. I was actually looking at one of those games on eBay again the other day. And I'm
they're like $400 or something for a working one.
And it's just like such a gamble because they're like, how do you know it works, right?
Yeah,
like
comes with extra light bulb.
What? 40 years. How do you know that game? Nobody knows what we're talking about right now. But
no,
that's okay.
The cool ones will. So Alabama plays Eastern Illinois on the 22nd.
Yeah, I think that's the weekend when it all happens, is that 22nd weekend.
Yeah, so Oklahoma and Texas, I guess, as the newer additions, don't do it.
What makes me even more mad is Sankey's, his excuse for this is we play the hardest schedule the rest of the year. So
no, they don't. And then LSU plays Western Kentucky.
Do you know that to me that the SEC playing the toughest schedule is like their propaganda has worked on people. So now they basically claim that because they play each other, they play the toughest schedule in the country if you're an SEC team, when it's complete crap. Like they're no tougher. It's no tougher than any of the Big Ten teams playing their schedule. I'm sorry, it's just not.
Yeah.
Because for every, like Vandy that you have jumping up, you have Auburn jumping down. Like, give me a break.
LSU jumping down.
Yeah. I mean, stop with that nonsense.
Tennessee
I'm kind of tired of it.
New Mexico State.
Yep. Saw that. Yep. The powerhouse of the Aggies from New Mexico State and Las Cruces.
I think if you're going to pay a team that late in the season, you have to travel to their stadium. It has to be
right?
Just to make
let them sell out their stadium to see you play.
Yep.
Yeah, they already sold out themselves. Take that.
If you put the top 3 SEC teams against the top 3 Big Ten teams, do you like Big Ten?
Yes.
So
for sure, right now, Ohio State, Indiana would beat anybody in the freaking
Oregon,
SEC.
And Oregon.
I would take that over Texas A&M, Alabama, and
Georgia.
Who is it? Georgia.
Ole Miss.
Yeah, Georgia or Ole Miss. Are we talking? I mean, neutral. I mean, obviously, to me, like
just playoff,
neutral field, playoff, like whatever. Yeah, I'm taking the Big Ten teams, but that's just me.
I haven't really watched Texas.
Georgia's been making these late game comebacks against like teams and stuff. Eventually that's going to, like, they're not going to be able to make that comeback. They're going to run into somebody who's actually good enough to stop that crap. So,
Georgia's interesting. They were talking on the radio the other day about how difficult it is to replace somebody like, say, like a James Franklin, who has a winning tradition, right? Granted, not a great record against top 10 competition, but they were talking about how when Georgia fired, I can't remember his name now. He was there for a long time.
Mark Richt.
Mark Richt. Yep. They could never get over the hump, and everybody was like, can never win the big game. And then they actually did upgrade with Kirby.
Mark Richt.
There's a delay. There's delay in Josh's headphones.
I don't know where that came from.
Good. No, you pulled it off. That was good.
But no, listen, the same thing. I personally feel like Wisconsin's kind of
to do that.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody should be the example of that, it's got to be Nebraska, right? Because you have Solich, who has a winning tradition, whose worst season was 500 at 7-7, okay, and then he comes back the next year and goes 9-3, and they fire him, and then you hire garbage, you replace him with garbage, you get lucky, and you get out of the garbage by hiring Pelini. And then you fire him after going 9-3, and now it goes back to garbage. And it's like, Wisconsin, you need to pay attention, because that's the same thing you're going through. Like, Fickle is I don't know that he's the answer, but like just firing guys completely, like every time somebody's struggling, that's not probably the answer either. Like, it's just, and you lose the tradition. Especially Wisconsin, to me, is the closest example, because they also did kind of what Nebraska did. Because who was Wisconsin? They were big, beefy offensive linemen, line up, run the guy. They were run first, and then they were play action, to complement it. And that was their mojo. And for Fickle to come in and try and change that to this, like zone read, RPO type offense. I was like, you're doing the same thing that you had to do who was the guy they hired after Solich? Callahan. Callahan came in and was like, we're not running the ball anymore. That's the entire identity of the football team for the last 100 years. You can't change that in a year. And I still think that's where Nebraska's rebuilding from. Legitimately, I still think Nebraska is recovering from that change in their identity to some degree. And so it's like, now here's Wisconsin doing the same thing. And if Georgia does it, Penn State's going to go through it now. Who was Penn State? Same thing as Wisconsin. We are a strong running football team with a tough defense, and we want to now throw the ball all over the place and whatever. we're not doing it well enough, or I don't know. It just, to me, it's crazy for them to have fired Franklin. I thought was nuts.
I thought so too.
And I don't think the team would be on a 6-game losing streak right now. Is that what they're at now?
Something like
Is
that.
it 6?
Holy cow!
It's 5 or 6, and I don't think that they would be on that. I think they would have won at least a couple of those games. I mean, yeah, he lost 2 in a row, 3 in a row, but he would have corrected that. I think it would have corrected itself.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, like that's why I wonder if it was like a booster or a group of boosters who stepped in and forced their hand, because it felt like you better have somebody better in your back pocket when you're doing something like that. And if you don't, then I feel like their hand maybe was forced by somebody threatening to pull money or something. But I don't know. I just feel like, geez, give the guy a down year. Like,
right?
They were terrible when he took over. By the way, they were terrible.
Yes. Because they were living through all the Joe Paterno and the fallout of all the Paterno and the one child abuser and Sandusky, the Sandusky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like
Bill O'Brien had kind of leveled things out. Like he had created some.
I guess you're right.
It wasn't. But it still was you're still dealing with the recruiting limits and stuff like their scholarship limits and stuff like that.
I should throw. Oh, yeah.
But still, it wasn't a thing that anybody seemed to want at the time. Like it was rough. But and to be fair, like the last 3 games that Penn State has lost has been 1 point to Iowa. They got kind of boat raced by Ohio State, and then they lost by 3 to Indiana. So like those are not like.
Well, I think
those are 3 tough games.
Yeah.
Interim coach, I can't remember his name, Morris. I think the kids love that guy. So I think they're playing really hard for him. But
yeah, I definitely agree.
But ultimately, we hope they're totally demoralized by the time they come.
Yes.
or after.
Well, yes, I'd love to see.
Hopefully, they're demoralized after they play them.
Yes.
Yeah, even more demoralized. We want them to hate themselves even more.
Demoralized.
So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But I'm with you, and I just think all this coaching carousel stuff is bonkers right now. I don't think there, like, for all the jobs that are out there, if you listed them in order, I don't know that there are coaches who are good enough to fill those jobs at this point that are guarantees. If they go out and they get, they find the next Signetti, great, good for them. But, UCLA should probably hold on to Neuheisel somehow, because that kid is a freaking genius. Like, I'm sorry, that offense is just. I know, but if the guys love that interim coach, then he needs to keep. If they hire that interim coach and make him permanent, then he needs to keep Neuheisel. If they don't hire that guy as the interim, or who's the interim now as the full time, they need to keep Neuheisel.
What do you think of Whittingham? You think Whittingham will get taken?
No.
He'll go? No. You think he'll leave Utah?
No. I think Whittingham is
Utah and retire.
Yes. I think Whittingham will ride off into the sunset on his Harley and not look back when he's done.
What about oh crap, all of a sudden I forgot the D coordinator's name.
Morgan Scally?
Yeah, I wanted to say Morgan Stanley. Not that guy.
I don't. Morgan's like a Utah lifer, and he's set up as the head coach in waiting.
That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So I don't think he's leaving. I mean, and frankly, his name never gets brought up. Like, I never hear anybody go, "Hey, you should check out Morgan Scally," which is weird because everybody lauds how good the Utah defense usually is, So it's weird that they don't ever talk about him, but it's like everybody just goes, "Nah, he's a Utah lifer, so we're not even going to discuss him."
Yeah. Who could get some run is Jay Hill, because
he was successful at Weber. They've fallen off since he left Weber. Weber's nothing now, and that would be interesting.
So this will probably sound kind of weird, but Coach Eck for New Mexico, he was at Idaho. He built Idaho into a good team. New Mexico is already bowl eligible, and they're 6-3. Like he picked up the pieces after the what's his bucket left to go to Utah, the quarterback Dampier, and and Bronco Mendenhall was the head coach for Dampier. Both of them left. The OC left. He's at Utah now. Eck is a heck of a coach, and I could see him getting targeted a little bit.
Don't you
I don't
mean
know if
he's an Eck of a coach?
I don't know that you can really compare like some of these big names like a Franklin with an Eck, but like I don't know if they got to turn somewhere, and you're going to look to those guys who have built winning.
Well, the interesting thing will be to see like where Franklin ends up, because I mean Franklin should have a job.
Good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, where does Franklin? You know, like does Auburn hire Franklin? Because he's been in the SEC. He was at Vanderbilt before he went to Penn State, so he's been in the SEC. Yeah. So he can handle the SEC, because I mean he had Vanderbilt at least moderately competitive down there, and that's what got him the Penn State job. So then, you know, does he go there? Does he end up like the Oklahoma State's an interesting one to me, because they have money at Oklahoma State. Like they could do at Oklahoma State what Texas Tech did. I don't know why they haven't, frankly. Like I don't know what because they have that big time billionaires money that they named the stadium after or whatever. I think he's another oil guy, like where Texas Tech's getting the money. But you know, like so that's an interesting spot to me. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like the Big 12 would be a place that you could gamble on getting into the playoffs, because it's such a crazy thing that if you do something like what Texas Tech has done and just keep spending the money, you know. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. But yeah, where does Franklin end up? Because he's, you know, some guys who should not have jobs. Hugh Freeze should never coach college football again. Okay, that guy has failed at every place he's been. See you later, Andrew.
Whoa. Well, hold on. Wasn't he at like Liberty or somebody like that? And he
yes, he does. Like, so he needs to, like, when all these upper jobs are filled, he needs to backfill for somebody like down the line. Yeah. He needs to be at like a Louisiana Tech, you know,
or something that doesn't
like that.
Mind having to pay for controversial behavior from their head coach
and stupid coaching. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with him, but you know, Hugh Freeze, I don't like Hugh Freeze personally. I don't like him as a person. I don't like his coaching. Yeah, he's not my slice of pie. So anyway, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see where the rest of those fill out. Since we are running up on time here, I'm going to read this really quick. Mm-hmm. Episode sponsored by Helmet Nation. Beyond custom helmets, they're your place for officially licensed NFL and NCAA collectibles. Yes, we have the helmets of all sizes, minis, full size, speed flex, alternates. Also a ton of other team branded games and fan items such as puzzles, tumble tower, which is basically Jenga, checkers, dice and card decks, cribbage, dominoes. So they're perfect for fan caves, tailgates, holiday gifts. We have the holidays coming up here. Get the fan in your life, you know, something for their team. Settling and you know, if you love your team, Helmet Nation has something you'll want. Check it all out at helmetnation.com. Just quickly. All right. Apparently someone hijacked his bandwidth.
Ellie.
Probably.
Who knows?
So quickly, the 49ers lost today. They are now 6-4?
4, yeah.
6-4. Still not bad for having not had their starting quarterback for most of the year.
And their best defensive players.
Right. And yeah, they're still battling. And they battled away against LA today. Like they went down you know, pretty quick, but then battled back and just couldn't quite make it all the way back. So that was a tough game. The NFC West, I think, is probably the best division in football right now. It's the only one that has 3 teams with 6+ wins. So you've got 2 with 7 now, because you've got Seattle and LA both have 7 wins, and then San Francisco has 6 still. So, and then my Seahawks, of course, like boat raced Arizona today.
Dude, I'm playing against whoever I'm playing against has is it Jackson Smith?
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yes, and I'm on the wrong app. Yeah, and I'm like, I'm looking at my day, and I'm like, okay, I've got like a 75% chance of winning here. Like 2 minutes into that dang game, it goes down to where I'm at like, 45% chance of winning because Njigma scored within like 8 seconds of the game starting, and I was like,
On a 43-yard
freaking
touchdown too.
freaking jerks.
But
Somehow I like
he ended up going out of the game, so he ended up only with a total of 5. He had 4 catches for 86 yards or something like that, and a touchdown at the end of the first quarter. And then he ended up going out of the game. I don't know if he is
sorry. Oh goodness.
out for any kind of time because I didn't see him most of the rest of the game. Hopefully he is not too bad.
It doesn't say out.
Returned. Oh, so he did return after being evaluated for concussion. My guess is they will probably not. They probably pulled him from the game and just didn't risk anything else. Is my guess.
Yeah.
He'd already,
Well,
they were already
heavens.
killing him and everything else. So I've got to admit I've enjoyed watching my Seahawks this year. I think they're better than people expected them to be. Next week will be a great game because they play at LA, if I'm not mistaken. So that will be a fantastic game to watch. So yeah, pretty excited about that. Yeah, they play at the Rams and then they play in Nashville at Tennessee on 2 weeks from now. I really kind of want to go to that game. Tickets are only like $30 for nosebleed seats. I'm like,
wow.
Yeah. I looked at them the other day. You can get a seat in the lower bowl for $100. That's insane at an NFL game.
Yeah,
Insane.
for the Titans?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to go down to that game, but we'll have to see where I'm at with work. I suspect tickets will be available the day of the game, so I'll know when I get closer. Cool. In any case, pretty excited to see how the Seahawks keep going.
You see what the score is for the Chargers and Pittsburgh game right now?
Yeah, it's 5-3, right?
Yes.
I think the Chargers had
soccer.
I think the Chargers had a 2-run double and went ahead 5-3 in the bottom of the 5th. So
the Pirates don't usually score 3 runs.
I know.
So they're doing well. That is the craziest score. That's so weird.
Yeah, it was a safety. The Chargers had a safety and then a field goal. So, but in any case,
a fun note to end on,
right? So, yeah, we'll see. What is your record fantasy wise right now?
Oh, dude, I suck at this. I hate freaking.
No,
fantasy.
I'm worse than you are.
3-7 or something like that.
I'm 3-6. I currently have a lead over my opponent today, but I don't know if he's still got 3 guys total to go. He's got one. Oh, well, no, that's not it.
You're at 93% chance of winning right now.
I don't trust that for the life of me.
I don't either, but still.
Because if Ladd McConkey goes off in the second half, I'm in deep trouble. You know, give me a break.
Yeah. So
between Vidal and McConkey tonight, and then he's got Dallas Goedert in the game tomorrow. So I don't trust any of it.
So I'm playing the number 1 team, and so it says right now I have 99% chance of winning, but who knows? The thing that drives me nuts is when you look down over the league and you look at the points for and points against. Like my points for are pretty dang high. Like they're like in the top 5, but then you look at the points against and it's the most. Like I have the most points against me scored. And I'm like, dude, like everybody has their best game against me and it pisses me off. It's what drives me nuts about it.
I don't blame you for that because that's irritating as heck. That is
it's
crazy.
irritating because that's how the league gets decided is like,
yes,
like that's,
yes.
I have no control.
No, you look like you're in a pretty strong spot. I don't think the Eagles defense is going to win the game for this guy. So tomorrow night. So
I'm hiding behind.
As long as Jonnu Smith, who doesn't look like he's going to, I mean, he doesn't do much anyway. And then Dicker, the kicker.
Watch your mouth.
That's his name.
I know. I'm just kidding. Yeah. The most points Jonnu has had is at 10.8.
Yeah, I don't.
Otherwise,
I
he's
think you'll
like
be
below
okay.
5 most of the time. Let's hope so. Of course, we probably just jinxed myself or something.
That is an
You know,
impressive play to play a tight end for
my flex.
your flex. That's impressive.
Well, it's because he's starting to take off. And I guess last week he didn't, but the 2 weeks before that, he had 15 points and 26 points. And he, like, if you look at the other weeks, most weeks he's like, I don't know. It was just like everybody's projection was that Gadsden was in tight
Good
end one.
Lord, your bench went off.
Yeah, tell me about it. And I didn't play any of
Oh my crap.
them.
Jamison Williams, 23 points. Antonio Pierce, 17 plus.
Yeah, don't
Trey
remind me.
Johnson,
Right?
17 plus. Algier, 20 plus. ATN, 60. What the heck, dude?
I know. Well, there.
How do you lose games? Look at your starters. Like, you got 80 points out of your two running backs.
That was just kind of luck this week. They haven't done that like every week. Freaking Jonathan Taylor.
You're not losing games because your kicker's only getting 2 points and your defense is only getting
No,
one
I'm
and
losing
a half.
games because every other team is having the game of their life. It
That's
drives me
unreal,
nuts.
dude. You have a stacked team, and you are always going like, trade me something, trade me something. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude,
Well, it's
a
because I
trade
played
is not
Zay
going to help
Flowers.
you. A trade is not going to help the fact that every other team scores against you. Like, you don't control that. That's just
I know, but that
the
just
fantasy
means I gotta
gods
score more.
hate
The only
you.
way I can control that. But
that is
my
wild.
best starting receivers are Zay Flowers and Juwan Jennings. Jennings had a.
Have you
decent
added
game,
up your bench? How many points does your bench have?
I don't know. I don't want to think about that.
That is
It's a
insane. 34 plus 22 is what, 56. I'm just adding the whole numbers.
Why do you want to make me feel worse about my ability to do fantasy football?
And then you would be at 80. You are close to 100 points on your bench.
It's great.
That's wild.
This is why I wish the whole fantasy team was just a starting lineup only, so that I couldn't second guess myself on the bench.
Well, you didn't play any of them. The only one, let's see.
Well,
How
Zay
did your
Flowers and
quarterback
Juwan Jennings,
do?
my receivers. I mean, if I would have played, if I would have played Pierce and Johnson, they both had 17 points, or Jamison Williams.
Okay. But
So,
see, your receivers didn't play bad though. It wasn't like they got you like
they
3
weren't
points.
terrible, but
That's crazy. That is wild.
I just lucked out that he played Devin Singletary over Breece Hall Breece Hall's in over Saquon Barkley. I don't know why he did that. Like, he's got Barkley going on the bench tomorrow against Green Bay.
Oh,
he
wow.
played Devin Singletary over Barkley. So I don't know why he did that, but
especially given that the Giants defense is not bad. Like, they're usually, I mean, Giants don't win, but the Giants defense doesn't give up a ton of rushing yards. So that is weird that he played Singletary Singletary.
Well, Singletary's on the Giants.
Oh, wait, you're right.
Against Chicago.
Well, Chicago's defense hasn't been giving up a lot of rushing yards either, so
I don't know. I don't know why he did that.
You're right.
Maybe he just forgot to change it. I don't know. I don't care what it is. I just hope I win, because freak, man, 3-7 or 3-6 right now feels like a punch to the nuts.
It is bizarre because the majority of the people in our league are like underwater. I mean, there's you, me, Aaron, Brantley are all 3-6, and then Braden and Andrew are 4-5. There are literally four total players that are over 500, and
one of them's 5-4.
One of them's 5-4. That is wild.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at the number one team, his points for is 1,270 freaking 2. It's because he's got Josh Allen and he's got Saquon Barkley on the same freaking team, and
how did we let him
bonkers.
draft like this?
I don't freaking know.
He never drafts that well. That is so bizarre. He got so lucky this year. Usually he's one of the like 2-7 or 3-6 people. He is having a year. It's good you're bringing him back down to earth.
Let's hope so. I want to murder that guy.
All right. So are you thinking 2 weeks? That'll put us the weekend before Thanksgiving. We good?
Probably a good time.
Okay. All right. Next week's a bye week for Nebraska. No game.
Yep.
That'll be good. Let them get ready for Penn State. Penn State will play. Maybe they'll get more injuries. maybe they'll somehow crap the game away against Michigan State and have nothing left to play for when Nebraska comes to town.
Yay.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
All right, sir.
Yeah. I want to finish 9-3 real bad.
I actually do too. Like I think, but here I don't think
they
last
will.
thing. Last thing I'll say in terms of that is now that they've won 7, I said it at the beginning of the year. They won one more game than they did last year. I've counted as progress. I've seen a ton of progress with this team. I do think there are things that need to be fixed, but there are things that you're going to have to work on in the offseason when we've got to focus on getting a big body or two for the D line. And, but I think that the team, given that we had the youngest roster in the Big Ten, I think we're in a good spot. Yeah. And I'm seeing growth. So no matter what happens in the last 2 games, I still feel like this year has been better and we're making progress. And I love the fact that the other day in his press conference, Matt Rule took about 10, 15 minutes to talk about mental health after the young man committed suicide who played for the Cowboys. I thought that was, I'm riding with that guy.
I didn't see that.
So it was pretty powerful stuff. So loved it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Last words.
Go Big Red.
Go Big Red. All right, brother. We will see you in 2 weeks.
Okay. Take it easy.
All righty.